Councilors, please take their seats. We all rise, salute to the flag.
Roll call of the members. Councilor Arrigo.
Here.
Here. Councilor Correggio.
Here.
Here. Councilor Gino.
Here.
Here. Councilor Guanasso.
Here.
Here. Councilor Haas. Here. Councilor Novoselsky. Here. Councilor Patch. Here. Councilor Powers.
Here.
Here. Councilor Reardon.
Here.
Here. Councilor Zambuto.
Here.
And Council President Penta.
Here.
Here. Quorum is present. Approval of the Journal of the meeting of November 5th, 2012.
So, all in favor, all opposed.
Calendar item number 1, a certificate of commendation will be awarded to Michael DiVanzo for his tireless dedication and devotion in adopting Costa Park.
Councilor Novoselsky. Remain on the table.
Calendar item number 2, National Grid, Verizon, and Comcast will appear before the City Council to discuss ongoing work within the city, such as double poles and trench work.
Once again, I want to thank the three of you for coming. I know could have better things to do than be here, but this is working out for the citizens of Revere. So, councilors, Councilor Correggio.
Thank you for coming before us. I just have two issues, Malden Street and Sharjah and near Newhall. Those poles are still left with double poles. Malden and Sharjah.
Through you, Mr. President, those two poles, we're aware of who has to move on them, and those entities will begin to make those moves.
And I got some calls from residents of Boulevard Rear, near Renzo's. It's around 360 Boulevard. I guess there's 4 poles there with double poles. It's been there for almost over a year. If you can check that out, Boulevard Rear, Revere Beach.
Revere Beach.
And I don't know if you have anything to do with it. The lighting is out on North Shore Road going on to the Linway. I guess that exit there when you get off the Linway heading towards Boston. I guess when you take that right, that it's very dark, that entire area. So I don't know if there's a wire out that's knocking out all the lights or what.
Okay. I will have that checked out.
That's before you go under the underpass.
Yeah, I know what you were talking about.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Correggio. Councilor Giannino.
Thank you. So first I want to thank you guys at National Grid. I know I spoke to you through Ashley about a couple of trenches that were over near Washington Ave, but there are still those ones on Sargent Street. So I was just wondering if there have been any moves about that. They're right by the exit to the Whalen School. They're like giant holes in the ground. And as well as the pole by the Paul Revere School. I know I spoke about that a couple weeks ago. That still hasn't been fixed.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Councilor Giannino. Councilor Powers is next. Then.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm going to direct these remarks to Verizon. We have a pole down on Dunn Road, and I mentioned this before, and it's tilted completely. And they went down and they did put a metal pole in the ground and a cable to hold it up. But I mean, aesthetically, it looks terrible, really, for the residents that live down there. You've got another one down on the Linway, same situation. And what I really want to know tonight, and I believe I've asked this question before, we've had double poles down on Fowler, Chamberlain, and Bickford. They've been down there for it's a year now, and I can't understand for the life of me. Everybody's offered these poles, from what I can see. It's just Verizon. I think National Grid has the hardest job getting that electricity off of those poles. That's probably the most dangerous part of it. Why we can't get these double poles out of there? To me, it's, it seems like if you had a crew down there and they spent a couple of days, they could resolve this. And I know I've asked this question before, and I know you said you couldn't give me an answer. I guess what I'm going to ask tonight is who can give me an answer?
Mr. President, through you, as I've informed the councilor, there are still cable companies that are attached to the Fowler Street poles.
On Fowler?
On Fowler, that's correct. In addition, I think everybody's pretty much aware of the fact that we've dealt with a pretty severe weather incident this past month, all the utilities. We still have crews working in other parts of the country trying to restore power, and I know that's not within your domain, but this was a tragedy of proportion that I think no one could have imagined. We were lucky here, and I think your mayor actually phrased it correctly by saying that the city of Revere escaped relatively unscathed. But in terms of not being able to give you a time, I think that's, at the last meeting, pressing for time. I would have been, and I told you this, misplaced by giving you a certain time, knowing that events do take place. And this is one event that we had crews scattered throughout the Commonwealth. We still have crews working this particular problem in other areas of the country.
And I understand that, sir, and I have empathy for these people, okay? But that happened a couple of weeks ago. These poles have been there for months and months and months. Why does it, that's not a good excuse, really.
I'm not offering an excuse. I'm telling you that on those poles that you're most concerned with on Fowler Street, there is another series of transfers that have to be made before Verizon can make their transfers.
I was under the impression, is Comcast still on those poles?
Yes.
Speak to it. Mr. President, through you, we've had these ball in court for 59 days. Now, I was told that we might have been off them, we might not have. There's a possibility that we, had an error in not putting in the information into the PLM, which could impact Verizon.
So are we on or off of them? That's what I want to know.
Our guy's on vacation this week. As soon as I get that information when he gets back, I'll let you know.
I would certainly appreciate that.
Absolutely.
And I would appreciate getting those double poles out of there. It's
Yep.
We all look ridiculous when people drive around and see these poles week after week after week. It's insane. And the other thing I'd like, on this status summary, is there any way we can get the dates that these became double poles?
I mean, the dates that I have.
Well, I think they'd have to come from Verizon.
The dates that I have are the dates that they go ball in court.
No, the dates that they became a double pole.
I can't answer that.
Can Verizon answer that?
I'm not sure what could be extracted from the database, but we'll take a look at it.
Yeah, I mean, if a double pole goes up, somebody must keep a record of that.
Yeah, that's why it's in the database. That's
And
correct.
I would assume that would be on this, so that not only the city council, but Verizon and National Grid and Comcast and Fire Alarm could also track those poles more efficiently and make a determination if a pole's been up there a year or 2 years. And I've seen them up there for a couple of years in my neighborhood. So, I think there's got to be a better way of doing this. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Council Powers, Council Novoselsky.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Mr. President. Dan, it's two I wanted to give you that I didn't give you before because I didn't have them on my list in front of me. Blake Street, pole 1169. That's been waiting for a street. It's not a major electric line. It's just a sub line into a house.
What pole number was that again?
1169. It's at
It's a double pole?
22 Blake Street.
It's a double pole?
Yeah.
Waiting for us?
It's waiting for a street light and the wire change into his house.
Okay.
House. The other one is 727 James, pole number 727 on James Street. that's been waiting for a street light also to be relocated.
Okay.
So, and also I gave you a street light at 191 Garfield Ave.
Okay. Yeah, it's in here.
The street light's out,
Yep.
and it's right by a senior citizen complex. We'd like to put a
Okay.
priority on that one, please.
That was 191
Yes.
Garfield. Okay.
Garfield.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Council Novoselsky. Council Patch.
Thank you, Mr. President. Dan, I want to thank you for a return call today for Jefferson Drive. I know we were playing phone tag there for a while, and hopefully that matter was taken care of today. Now, I'll give you praise. Now, with the Verizon, I have to go along with my counsel to the left here, Councilor Powers, that unless policy has changed in 5 years, pole removal is not a big priority with Verizon, and it never was. When I was working details, there was only probably 2 crews that serviced several cities around this area. So there's only so much work that they can do. So they're not off in New Jersey or New York. I'm sure those 2 crews probably still here. It just isn't it never was a priority, and I don't think it still is a priority, removing double poles. I mean,
Council,
that's the bottom line.
The crews aren't geographically driven to just this area. They do move as they're needed. And I think you recognize the storm event that we did have. You also recognize that we've taken out over 180 poles since we started this process.
Right.
So, and I think in the nature of cooperation, this council and Verizon, as well as other utilities, really tried to make this a priority. And, can we get to everything all at once in the manner in which you want? No. And I think that everybody understands that. So what we've tried to do, and I think all the utilities working here have demonstrated, is, try to meet your priorities.
Right.
And we do that despite the fact that we still have ongoing work within the system.
Right. But I just I wanted to know that. I mean, it just really not a priority to remove the poles. And I understand that they have other work to do, but there was only because I did the detail. I knew the guys that did it. There was only 2 crews that did it, and they had a service not just Revere, other surrounding cities.
Right.
And they're pretty quick putting the pole in, but they don't have a very big priority taking the old pole out. That's all I want to say.
Through you, Mr. President, again, putting the pole in is a very easy task, as you just demonstrated, but making those transfers with multiple utilities attached to the older poles becomes a real issue, and I think that's the issue that this council has struggled with as we have as well.
So to your credit, you have done the 3 years have really helped greatly over the last year since we started this meeting, and I appreciate that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Council Pass. Council Haas.
Thank you, Mr. President. Dan, I have a couple of questions. First of all, the layout on the Linway, I received a couple of calls with Council Corriggio.
Yep.
Okay, see if you can rectify that.
Okay.
Also, I don't know if you had an opportunity to go up and look at Conan Street from Malden Street to Fenley.
Excuse me, I'm sitting in here.
Yeah, they did a lot of work up there as far as the asphalt, et cetera.
That's
Conan.
replacing. Right.
Okay.
We have probably at least a half a dozen trenches and sidewalks and so forth to be
All right,
taken
if you
care of.
could just
We are gonna
check
get
it
to
up,
them.
I'm trying to
Yeah.
respond to my constituents up there.
Yeah.
Okay?
It's definitely on the list to be done.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Council Haas. Council Granasso.
Thank you, Mr. President. Stan, I saw that they were down there last week doing work on Revere Street, but as mentioned by Councilor Janino several times, the pole at the corner of Revere Street and Roosevelt Street, and the pole right in front of Paul Revere School. Now, if those two poles were to be corrected as soon as possible, what a tremendous safety factor it would present for our kids going to that school. And and aesthetically, we put a lot of time, money, and effort into the Paul Revere School, and to have that pole halfway in high, and it doesn't even look like the other poles on the ground correctly, I should think that that would be of major importance. A pole in front of a school and a street adjacent to the school, those are primary locations. And if you get your forces to go down there along with our good friend from Comcast, we can get that corrected as soon as possible. And then if it's our responsibility, if fire alarm is still on there, then you let me know about that, and we'll make sure that we'll do our end of it. Because whatever we have to do, I think that it's a priority in front of a school that those two poles be corrected.
I'll look for the numbers of the two poles. I couldn't tell you who's on them currently, but there is a protocol, as we all know, in how those removals work, and we're dependent upon one another to make sure that they do work. We can't.
That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to speed up protocol because of its location. Now, we can accept that on a side street and go, by the letter of the law and protocol. But on a major street across, right on the school side, and the two poles are right there, I should think that should be of major importance to get that relieved as soon as possible.
We understand the importance from the city's perspective. You made that very clear. Also, it's very important, safety-wise, to continue to follow the protocol and who removes and the order in which they remove. Are there occasions when you can go out of protocol? Yes. But that still doesn't mean that that pole comes down if there's still someone attached to it. So it's in everyone's best interest to get off that pole and speedily get this out of the way.
Yeah, I would think that would be a priority. To be honest with you, that should be red flagged and said, at least in front of a school. So many children go there, and it's a high frequency area, and that's what I'm suggesting. Thanks.
Thank you.
We need your help.
Thank you, Councilor Granaccio. Councilor Sambudo.
Thank you, Mr. President. Let me say at the outset, nobody dislikes double poles more than me. I think 10 or 12 years ago, I put in an ordinance to remove double poles. So I'm thrilled with the way this system has worked. Now, has it slowed down this month? Absolutely. There was a major storm. And I hate to say it, and I'll even say it on TV in front of my constituents, that if some of those poor people in these other areas that have no power and that have been in the cold for all this time, if we have to take some of our resources away for a short period of time, and it means a double pole being up another week or two, I can live with that. So, this system has worked great. We've removed, 180, 190 poles since this new system's been in place. It's working fine. Let's continue to cooperate. And, I couldn't be happier with the protocol the way it is now. Thank you.
I want to thank you once again for coming. We'll see you next month, I guess. Thank you.
Calendar item number 3, continued hearing called as ordered upon the application presented by National Grid for a request to install underground utilities on Railroad Street.
Anybody here from National Grid? Proponents?
My name's Mary Ellen Murphy. I'm from National Grid. Oh, sorry. There's 2 existing manholes on Railroad Street, and we're going to try to put some conduit from a substation, which is on Railroad and Wharf Street, I think, which is a paper street. And it's about 40 feet into the road, and to do 2 different manholes, and we'll need a road opening permit for that, and The work should take about a week, I would think. So it's an existing manhole system, we're just adding conduit. We're going to try to improve the power and reliability to the area. So we have a petition in for that.
All right, thank you. Just got to go through the process here. You can take a seat unless some of the council have a question. Any other proponents? Seeing here and none, we'll close that side of the hearing. Any people opposed? Seeing here and none, we'll close that side of the hearing. Any city councils? Seeing here and none, yeah, we're going to take this up for a vote because you want to get this work done as soon as possible, correct? This is actually in my ward. And if it's to improve something, I want to get this done. So I ask the council to take a vote. Councilor Hess.
Thank you, Mr. President. Madam, are you planning to resurface Railroad Ave?
Yes, we always restore the street to the same or better condition when we...
Okay, only in the work you're going to be doing, correct?
I'm sorry?
Only from the manhole back? You're
It's-
not going to do the whole street over?
Oh, no. It's just two 40-foot sections of conduit coming out of the substation into the manhole.
I thought we could get a new street out of it. That's why. Thank you, Mr. President.
You're welcome. Roll call.
Shall the City Council grant National Grid permission to install underground utilities on Railroad Street as described in the plan submitted? Councilor Arrigo?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Correggio?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Janino?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Guanasso?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Hass?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Patch?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Powers? Yes. Councilor Reardon?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Zambudo? Yes. And Council President Penta?
Yes.
Yes, permission has been granted.
I got mine.
Calendar item number 4, hearing called is ordered upon proposed SOAR use ordinance amendments to the Revere revised ordinances.
I don't see anybody here from the city. This is the ordinance for the... Well, we'll send it to, is anybody here in favor? We'll close that side of the hearing. Anybody opposed? We'll close that side of the hearing, and we'll send this to Legislative Affairs. This is an ordinance change they're asking for. When you go for a SOAR permit to open up a SOAR, we have it. It's actually, I think Nikki Catanazzo proposed it. So we'll send it to Legislative Affairs.
Calendar item number 5, hearing called is ordered upon the application of Joseph Prizio, 338 Squire Road, seeking permission from the Revere City Council to construct an illuminated standing accessory sign at 338 Squire Road.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the council. My name is Attorney Lawrence Simeone. I represent Mr. Prizio, trustee at 338 Squire Road, LLC. Actually, he's a manager. It seeks a permit in accordance with 1716-251 of the ordinance for a special permit for a standing accessory sign, and also in accordance with Revere Revised Ordinance 1736-042. The particular siting location is 338 Squire Road. It's in the general business district, consists of lots 817 to 829, 28,789 square feet. The proposed sign is a standing accessory sign, which will be accessory to the principal use of a self-service station with a convenience store. The proposed sign has a height of 29 feet, 6 inches, wherein by right it would have had to be only 20 feet. So that's why the special permit is required, along with the fact that it has an area of 150 square feet. The sign has a proposed sign location which is the furthest away from any residences and does not abut a residential district as set forth in 1736-042. I don't see any questions the council may have.
Thank you. Any other proponents, people in favor? Seeing here and none, we'll close that side of the hearing. Any people opposed? Seeing here and none, we'll close that side. And just let the council know if anybody's want to speak on this. This is going to go to committee by our rules of order. zoning committees. Any councilors want to speak on this now, or? Council Sambudo.
I'm certainly going to support this after it goes to committee. Obviously, by our ordinances, it has to go to committee. Thank you.
Thank you. This will go to subcommittee to be voted on December 3rd.
Calendar item number 6, report of the Economic Development Subcommittee.
Council Sambudo. Does that remain in the
Well, Mr. President, the Economic Development Subcommittee met this afternoon at 4 o'clock, and we discussed at length the proposed TIF agreement for the proposed market basket at Northgate. And after lengthy discussion, we decided that the city clerk would put this online. The contract agreement will be online as of tomorrow. And in the sunlight of transparency, everybody can look at this proposed agreement. I think most of us are in agreement with it, but we will have another Economic Development Committee meeting on December 3rd. At that time, we'll vote on this and recommend to the City Council what action to take. So that's my complete report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Calendar item number 7, report of the Zoning Subcommittee.
Councilor Reardon.
Thank you, Mr. President. The zoning subcommittee did meet this evening with a number of items on the agenda. I'm going to take them out of order because 7 of them are interrelated. The 7 involve the request for modification to existing telecommunications sites in the following manner. C-12-12 for the purpose of installing 2 additional 1-foot dishes on lot 44/446F at 1070 Broadway, Revere, Massachusetts. Item C-12-13, again, Metro PCS requesting permission to install 4 additional 1-foot dishes at 50 Walnut Avenue in Revere. Metro PCS again, C-12-14, to modify existing telecommunications site for the purpose of installing 1 additional antenna at 250 Revere Street, Revere. Metro PCS again at C-12-15, requesting the installation of 1 additional 1-foot dish at 400 Broadway, Revere. C-12-16, Metro PCS again, requesting permission for 2 additional 1-foot dishes and 1 additional 1-foot dish at 474 Revere Beach Boulevard, Revere. C-12-17, Metro PCS requesting to modify an existing telecommunications site for the purpose of installing 3 additional 1-foot dishes at 427 Squire Road, Revere. And lastly, Metro PCS requesting the installation of 1 additional 1-foot dish on lot 1A at 204 Proctor Avenue, Revere, Massachusetts. All of these items were reported out and voted on favorably, reported out favorably by the subcommittee and unanimously, and I would request that the matters be taken up this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We're going to take, unless somebody has an objection to one of these, we're going to take one vote all at once with a roll call. Thank you.
Shall the City Council grant the relief requested on the special permit applications of Metro PCS C-12-12 through C-12-18 as reported by Councilor Reardon? Councilor Arrigo?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Correggio?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Gino?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Guanasso?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Haas?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Patch?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Powers?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Reardon?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Zambudo? Yes, and Council President Penta?
Yes.
Yes, the special permits have been granted.
Mr. President, the next items on the agenda were taken, I think we should take them up together. They are interdependent. In fact, if a denial is made on C-12-06, 12-210, which is a request for the issuance of a Chapter 148 license, would be a moot point anyway. This is C-12-06 is the request for a special permit by James St. Bill to further alter an existing non-conforming structure in use for the purpose of operating a special garage auto body at 851 to 855 Broadway, Revere, Massachusetts. This matter was taken up along with the licensing matter by the subcommittee this evening and was reported out unanimously unfavorably to the City Council, full City Council. I suggest that we take a vote on this. If there is not any further discussion on this, I'm prepared to make a recommendation for denial on this. However, Mr. President, if you'd like to entertain more discussion, now would be the time to do it.
I'll defer to the Ward 3 councilor and let him, I have no problem taking this up for a negative vote tonight.
Thank you, Mr.
Councilor
President.
Granasso.
Mr. President, I just, as I alluded to earlier this afternoon, we had the subcommittee meeting. There were several people in attendance at the neighborhood meeting, and 7 of my colleagues were also there, and I applaud them for being there. But there was unanimity with the people in attendance. They were all against the proposal, based on several of the conditions that Councilor Reardon is going to read into the record. And certainly, parking was to the forefront, and the nature of the business was of concern based on the, is there a special need for a special garage permit? I don't think so, and there's about 7 other garage locations within the immediate vicinity. So with those conditions placed upon it and with the outcry of the neighborhood, and we could have multiplied those in attendance by the tens for the people who live in their households who also would be opposed to it. So there's quite a large number of people who are opposed to this particular project going forward. So along with the recommendation, I do ask that this council vote this down this evening and let people there have a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Councilor Granasso. Councilor Corriggio wants to say something.
Yes, I support the neighborhood. I support the ward councilor. The main issue there is, I'm familiar with the area, is safety. Safety for the neighborhood. Cars exiting from Folsom Street, it's a blind area. It's very, very congested, and it's not appropriate to have that type of business there. So it's basically safety for the neighborhood and get rid of the any excess traffic. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Corriggio. Councilor Reardon.
Thank you, Mr. President. We did hear from a number of different people in various stages, but especially at the public hearing of this matter. There were some major issues presented that would substantially make this, if true, if believed, and I do believe that the subcommittee were in accordance, that this proposed use is substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood than the existing prior non-conforming use. And I think this was based on the noise, not in any particular order, but the noise of the auto body shop, the odor, potential for odors and chemical odor emanating. Certainly the parking was probably the preeminent issue in as much as it's anticipated that there will be parking required for a number of different employees, not to mention potentially at least customers, as well as the traffic conditions already which are detrimental in that area. That would be substantially more detrimental by this particular use than its existing non-conforming use. So at this point, Mr. President, I'm prepared to move that this special permit be denied based on all of the foregoing reasons. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It'll be a roll call, and the roll call will be a yes would be for a no. In other words, this is, he put up a negative. Well, so a no vote would knock it down. Okay, roll call.
Shall the City Council grant the relief requested on the special permit application of James St. Phil, 851-855 Broadway? Councilor Arrigo.
No.
No. Councilor Correggio.
No.
No. Councilor Janino.
No.
No. Councilor Guanasso.
No.
No. Councilor Haas.
No.
No. Councilor Novoselsky.
No.
No. Councilor Patch.
No.
No. Councilor Powers.
No.
No. Councilor Reardon.
No.
No. Councilor Zambuto.
No.
No. And Council President Penta.
No.
No. The special permit is denied.
Motion to suspend rules, Mr. President.
Motion to suspend rules. All in favor.
The
All
hope
opposed. All voters.
that does not prevail.
reconsideration will not prevail. All in favor, all opposed, so voted. Go back to the regular order of business. It's null and void, I believe. Mr. Chairman, you withdrawing the 148B license? It's withdrawn. Thank you. On the motion to withdraw, all in favor, all opposed, so voted. Communications.
Calendar item number
Oh, I'm
8,
sorry,
report
you're
of
right.
the Appointments Subcommittee.
Councilor Granasso.
Thank you, Mr. President. Early this afternoon, the appointment subcommittee met, and we had two applicants before us. The first being Hank Greenberg for a reappointment to the Housing Authority for a 5-year term expiring 2017, and that was unanimously approved by the subcommittee. Also appearing before the subcommittee was the name of Pat DeFeo, a reappointment as a constable for a 3-year term, and that was also voted out favorably. So I ask the City Council vote the two individuals out favorably with your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Roll call.
Shall the City Council confirm the appointments as reported by Chairman Guanasso? Councilor Arrigo?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Correggio? Is absent. Councilor Janino?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Guanasso?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Haas?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Patch?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Powers?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Reardon?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Zambuto?
Yes.
Yes. And Council President Penta?
Yes.
Yes, the appointments have been confirmed. Calendar item number 9, report of the Veterans Affairs Subcommittee.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, the Veterans Subcommittee met this early evening today, and we were addressed by Nick Boer, the Director of Veteran Services, and it's been a chore to put together a protocol on how we establish and get the names of veterans to put a memorial square up around the city. Sometimes the council would do it, sometimes the mayor would do it, but we want to make sure that everything goes through one source. And the main thing that Nick put together was that everything goes through him. If anybody want a veteran memorial, it goes through Nick Boer directly. Then he will forward it to the city council for approval to instruct the mayor to have the DPW sign department put up the appropriate sign. Now, there was 2 changes that were requested that we make sure with the name of the veteran, their rank and service be included. And also we add number 11 onto the list of 10 that would state that the Department of Public Works and the the Director of Veteran Services are declared the caretakers of all memorials, with the Public Works being the maintenance portion and the Director of Veteran Services being the person that keeps track of the names and makes sure that everybody gets taken care of. There's also a section in here about non-veteran signs that were already done. We're clarifying that all those that were done prior to this point would be not subject to a $25 annual fee for a decoration of a non-veteran sign. But I want to remind everybody that we already have a rule on the City Council that non-veteran signs are no longer allowed. Those signs are only for veterans and city officials and state officials that may have served that have passed. So I would ask that the council pass this protocol and that hopefully everybody will abide by it and make sure that events that may happen, such as a couple weeks ago that a lot of the folks weren't notified, doesn't happen again. So this should square everything away. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good job on that. Can we have a roll call on this, please?
Shall the protocol for Veterans Memorial signs be accepted on behalf of the City Council and the Veterans Affairs Department as reported by Chairman Novoselsky? Councilor Arrigo?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Correggio?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Gino?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Guanasso?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Haas?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Patch?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Powers?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Reardon?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Zambuto?
Yes.
Yes. And Council President Penta?
Yes.
Yes, the protocol has been accepted. Calendar item number 10, communication from the city engineer relative to the renaming of View Street in Oak Island to View Road.
That's going to go to a public hearing.
Calendar item number 11, communication from the city clerk relative to bond approvals. And these are for various municipal employees.
Will the council take it up for a vote? On the motion, all in favor, all opposed, so voted.
Calendar item number 12, communication from the Board of Assessors relative to the minimum residential factor.
Has to go to a public hearing.
Calendar item number 13, motion presented by Councilor Novoselsky that the mayor appear before the city council at its next regularly scheduled meeting to discuss the loss of playworks at the Garfield School.
Councilor Novoselsky.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, it came to my attention weekend ago that a group, Playworks, it's an organization that the city hires and gets funding for to a certain point to have an additional staffing for physical education for the elementary schools. And it came to my attention that Playworks was all done at the Garfield, but not at the Wayland. And it turns out, and I think everybody got a copy of a communication from Superintendent Dr. Dakin, that the Wayland was part of a grant program, but the Garfield grant expired and now had to be taken up by the city. And I guess there was so much time put from the time to the end of the contract, almost 2 months over the summertime, it was held up here at City Hall. And Playworks said, excuse the pun, but we don't want to play this game anymore. You know, they were owed $226,000. And this was tied up here at City Hall. And I think, it's incumbent upon us to find out why we lost not only a good gym teacher, but additional staff that we don't pay for. So I think it's important that we find out from the mayor what happened with that situation. Thank you, Mr. President.
On the motion, all in favor, all opposed, so voted.
Calendar item number 14, motion presented by Councilor Novoselsky that the school department take the necessary actions to repair the roadway and sidewalk lights on Waxman Way and those adjacent to the side and rear of the Garfield School.
Councilor Novoselsky.
Thank you, Mr. President. Once again, the Garfield School needs a lot of work. All the lights along the sidewalks, Waxman Way, and behind the school where they park their teachers park their cars, all the lights are out. And here we are going into December, and the kids are walking home at 4 o'clock, and it's dark. The teachers are going into the parking lot, and it's dark. So I think it's incumbent upon the school department to get these lights fixed as soon as possible, if not sooner, for the protection and safety of everybody that uses the school. Thank you.
On the motion, all in favor, all opposed, so voted.
Calendar item number 15, motion presented by Councilor Novoselsky that the mayor take the appropriate action for the installation of an outside tot lot at the Garfield School by Kaboom.
Councilor Novoselsky.
Thank you, Mr. President. Seems like it's Garfield night here at the council, but what's going on is several years ago there used to be a tot lot on the south side of the building, and it did deteriorate after a while, and the kids were beating on it, and the school decided to move it up on top of the second floor of the Garfield School in an open area. Well, that took away from the kids in the neighborhoods from having a tot lot available to them. And we could get a tot lot with one section. It shouldn't cost us more than $8,500, and the balance of the monies would be paid by Kaboom, who actually did cost the park. They will get sponsors for it, and we will have a nice tot lot. And I can't believe that Dr. Dakin said it wasn't important to put a tot lot outside and have the kids beat on it again. Well, that was many years ago. It's not now. Costa Park has been up for almost a year and a half now. It's in good shape. The kids respect it, and this will be for a smaller group of kids. This is mostly for the elementary kids, and they need something down there. It's important. They got the space for it, and we can probably get the money for it. And I think it's incumbent that we ask the mayor to pursue this. Thank you.
On the motion, all in favor, all opposed, so voted.
Calendar item number 16, motion presented by Councilor Correggio, in accordance with Section 15.16.020 of the revised ordinances, that the City Council fill the open 2-year appointment to the Revere Residence Monitoring Committee. Currently, 4 of the 5 positions are filled, and a full committee will be necessary to discuss future construction projects.
Before I go to Council Corrigan, he'd like to be recorded as a yes on the no on the garage, I believe it is, right?
No, the monitoring committee for the,
No, that's what the motion is now. You left, you didn't take a vote, you wanted to be recorded as yes. The Appointments Committee, okay. Council Corrigan.
yeah, basically the motion speaks for itself. It needs to be filled, and it's up to the council to designate somebody.
We'll send it to Appointments Committee.
Mr. President, Mr. President,
Council Granasso.
make a recommendation that John Corrigan be appointed to that.
So move. Good
I
call.
second it.
So what are we doing here? All right, roll call.
That Councilor John R. Correggio be appointed to the Revere Residence Monitoring Committee. Councilor Arrigo.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Correggio.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Gino.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Guanasso.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Haas. Yes. Councilor Novoselsky.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Patch. Yes. Councilor Powers.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Reardon.
I'm really torn, but I guess yes.
Yes. Councilor Zambuto.
Yes.
Yes. Council President Penta.
Yes.
Yes, the appointment has been confirmed. Late
Late motions.
We have a late communication from the mayor relative to the appointment of Henry Mancini to the Revere Housing Authority to fill the remaining term of Fred Ingber, who to expire on February 18th, 2013.
Appointments Committee, Council Granasso. I don't want to vote on it now. Appointments Committee.
We have late communication from the mayor relative to the restoration of budget cuts in the amount of $114,000 to the Quinn Bill overtime account and $220,000 to the Board of Health school nurse salaries account.
Should go to Ways and Means, and the question is also, I believe, and the department told us that the school department is supposed to reimburse us for those 2 nurses. So I can't see why that would come out of the city funds, but I read the letter, but I'm saying when we went through budget hearings, these things were mentioned to us.
Point of information?
Councilor Hess,
Thank-
Patch.
Okay.
As far as the police department, the Quinn Bill overtime account, that was actually, I don't know, I was out sick when we were doing the budget and the Ways and Means, but I would have mentioned it then, that's bound by contract, that money, that can't be cut, it shouldn't have been cut in the first place.
I don't know, I think we've seen that a little differently. How do you have, can I ask you a question? You have a Quinn Bill, which is actually was a state denied, but we still pay. Then you have overtime in a Quinn Bill? I mean, who's on first here? I don't know.
Yeah, but they negotiated, it's in the contract that's to be paid.
And I thought they were working without a contract.
And, well, it did be, actually, I had a conversation with the chief on this, and he had mentioned that they use another money to pay this, because they have to pay it because of the contract.
Well, it's going to go to Ways and Means. He's not going to take a vote on this tonight. I mean, the other thing is, I believe this council voted on putting the whole Quinn money, $750,000 in a separate account. So I don't know how they're taking that up. So there are a lot of questions here. So this will go to Ways and Means.
Mr. President,
Councilor Hess.
I think we have to have that meeting on the 3rd because the mayor needs these monies to establish the tax rate.
Well,
we're in a catch-22 here.
No, because the public hearing, the tax rate, he can't come until we have the public hearing, which will not be till, it'll be December 3rd. So
Right, that's what I'm saying. We're up against
I'm
the
sure
wall.
that Council Powers will have the Ways and Means meeting then, but,
Yeah.
well,
The tax rate has to be established.
Council has his correct. You got to take the vote before the first of the year. But with that being said, just want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving and enjoy it. It's, There are no late communications. I mean, we just did them. But have a good Thanksgiving and a safe one, and motion to adjourn. All in favor, all opposed, so voted.